And welcome in, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour. I am one half of your host and virtual bartender, Mr. Nick Teodoro. Joining me, as always, is my tag team partner in life, my wife, Miss Nicole. Nicole, what are you having this evening?
Oh, everyone knows me at this point. We got some Tito's, we got some orange, we got some crayon. Mr. Nick, tell the people what you're drinking and our three things for the show.
Well, before you do that, smash the old like and hit the subscribe if you're new in here. Well, Nikki, Joe Hendry is the new TNA World Champion. The Hurt Syndicate are now AEW Tag Team Champions, and we preview WWE's Saturday night's main event. It's Friday, January 24th, 2025. This is the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
She's been telling me all night long. Gasoline and groceries, the list goes on and on. This 9 to 5 ain't working. Why the hell do I work so hard? I can't worry about my problems. I can't take them when I'm gone. 1, here comes the 2 to the 3 to the 4. Tell him bring another round when he's ready more. 2 stepping on the table, she don't need a dance floor. Oh my, good lord. Someone pour me up a double shot of whiskey. They know me and Jack Daniels got a history. There's a party downtown near Fifth Street. Everybody at the bar getting tipsy. Everybody at the bar getting tipsy. Everybody at the bar getting tipsy.
And welcome back in, everybody. Once again, happy Friday. It's been a week since we've seen you. We've seen a lot of wrestling. We're covering it all this week. We're expanding outward to TNA, AEW, and WWE as we normally cover, but we're doing it all. We got a big show planned, so let's kick it. Nikki,
Get into
are you
it.
ready? We open.
Good. Are you ready?
We open as we always do with our famous new segment, Nikki's News. Nope, wait, not there. Wrong one.
Oh, so here we are, another day, another Friday, another Tony Khan contract issue. We've talked about Malachi Black. Now we're talking about Ricky Starks. Apparently, he asked for his release and was denied. Basically, we've not seen him on TV, on AEW TV since last March. Like, we're almost coming up on a year. Like, January's gone. So almost a year we have not seen him on Dynamite. He's allowed to work indie dates, but Tony won't release him from his contract.
Yeah. Well, he's been speaking out for a while now.
Yeah, he did. Well, we thought he was going to do a bunch of dates with GCW, and that quickly got kiboshed. Again, people think it's because Effie made some comments on his. We've talked about that before on his podcast, but then other people got to, like, of course, John Moxley's going to do what John Moxley does with GCW, and Bloodsport and all the GCW collective, but he was in, like, House of Glory and some other stuff, but we're not going to use it. It's the same thing. We're not going to use you on TV, but we're not going to let you go.
Yeah, it's just stockpiling talent so that the competitor can't get him. I mean, he's ultimately, we know where he's headed. He's going to WWE to be with Cody at some point in time. I don't know whether he'll go to NXT or the main roster, but he has so much potential, and
he's young.
And he cuts a great promo. Like, even the stuff he was doing with Big Bill in AEW was great. Like, he was the TNT champion. He had such a rise there, and it just seemed like he just fell off. I don't know what happened.
Well, that's the thing that people are saying. It's just like, it's not like he was declining down the roster. Like, he just was tag team champions with Big Bill, and then all of a sudden he was off TV. And people are saying that, like, he is at odds with management on AEW. Like, his closest friend is Cody Rhodes. He was super close with CM Punk. So it's like, you're friends with the two people that, you know, well, Cody left and, Punk got fired, but it's like these two big names are now very big deals back in AEW again, in WWE again.
Yeah.
That it's just like, it's like, all right, well, we're not going to use you. And I'm just like, he's young, he's athletic, he's good looking. Like, why are you not using him? Other people,
especially now when you're looking for like main event talent.
Right,
You would think that
who's
you'd be-
sniffing around the top spot of the roster now, and we'll get to that when we get to our AEW stuff. But I don't know. I think it's a real shame.
Yeah, we'll see where when he ends up eventually leaving. But let us know in the comments below where do you want to see Ricky Starks? Do you think this has gone on long enough, or should he, as Baron or where he's
Bishop Dyer.
Bishop Dyer said recently, finish out your contract and do what you're doing. But again, is he just not being used by Tony, or is he being given bad creative? I don't know. Who knows? But let us know in the comments below. Where do you want to see him next? Do you want to see him finish out his run in AEW, or?
I think that at this point, just let him go. You're not using him on TV. Let him go.
Yeah.
Why then spend the money that you're paying Ricky? You can pay someone else to be on TV.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree, but again, Tony, you don't use it, you lose it.
Hello, Miro. Hello, Malachi. Burt Baker. Like, how many people is he just on his roster that he's paying that aren't seeing the light of day?
Yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah.
So we shall see what ends up happening with Ricky Starks and what's next for him, but. The drama continues in AEW backstage with talent looking to get out. So,
unfortunately,
who's next? Rico Goldberg. But Nikki, do you have any others, or is this a short?
No,
Nikki?
It was a short. I thought, okay. I left it open for you to hit my music, and then we can move on.
Well,
but again, we don't have production meetings. Nick goes rogue.
Tell me to hit the music. Go ahead.
Somebody hit my music.
I missed it. I missed the lob. Apparently the segue was there, and we missed it.
It was there. We missed it. It's fine.
We're just warming up. We got a lot to get to. So, Nikki, stemming back from, you asked me. You said, "Can we order it?" We did.
Well, first you said no, and I was like, "Well, I'm doing it anyway."
I know. It's a losing battle, so it's just
But we did. I ordered.
It's basically Nikki just kind of comes out and she's like, "So I want to order this pay-per-view," and I was like, "Well, I mean, I don't know," and it's really just her being like,
Acknowledge me.
I'm like, give me like the courtesy nod. Like, I'm gonna do my thing. Like, I'm not asking for permission, but I'm also not asking for forgiveness. I'm like, hey, I'm doing this thing.
Yeah, and if I say no, she says
Goodbye. Mwah, and good night, bang.
But okay.
So I kind of said in our end of year thing, I was like, and then you talking to Mikey and being on Mikey's podcast, I was like, I want to make sure I watch more. And like we've been watching, we missed last week's NXT because all of a sudden Optimum decided not to carry it, but it was back this week. So we watched NXT this week. I want to watch. I was like, I'm gonna watch Genesis. Like I'm ordering it. Husband be damned. I'm ordering Genesis. So we ordered it. We watched it, and we all stood up and waved our hands from side to side.
Well, oh yeah, okay.
No, do you have a better segment?
No, yeah. From side to side and said, "Go ahead." I was waiting for
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry.
So, if you've been with us for a while, I've been singing Joe's praises for forever. That was my letdown of 2024, is that TNA did not put the belt on him. Finally, he beat Nick Nemeth and is now your new TNA World Heavyweight Champion. We all cheered and screamed and was excited. I yelled and you didn't wake up. Usually every time I breathe when you're sleeping, you move. But I'm super excited. I think Joe deserves it. I don't know if it's a better late than never sort of deal. Excited what he's going to do again with the partnership that TNA and WWE have. I think he's such the right person to usher in this kind of new NXT TNA working relationship, being the face of the TNA side. I'm super excited, super happy for him. I think he's been such a journeyman. Again, I've been watching him when he was in WCPW, Defy, his North stuff. Like, he's such a UK indie guy. Again, shout out to Cultaholic. Like, they're such good friends with him, and that's why I've been kind of following his career. Like, oh, he calls himself the prestigious one. I was like, well, that was his heel character in the UK scene. Like, you don't talk to me about Joe Hendry. But again, super excited. We've been calling it. I'm just glad that someone who's put in the work is getting their flowers.
I wonder if this leads towards, again, yeah, like I thought he was on the way out and maybe headed towards NXT. I think now with the partnership that's going on with TNA and WWE, it seems like they're going to try and really strap a rocket to him, at least for the time being, and try and milk their biggest star. He's their biggest star still left in the company, as far as I'm concerned. And I mean, you can argue Moose or maybe but I don't know. That's just my thinking is, yeah, again, he's their most mainstream star. Give him the opportunity. If you're doing a bunch of crossovers with WWE and TNA, he's the person to do it. As world champion, he's probably not, he's not going to be jobbed out. Like, he lost a couple matches, right? Like, he was in that Rumble on NXT. He's not going to look
lost
weak.
to Trick Williams.
He's not going to look weak as the world champion, so they were kind of protecting him as well, to look strong for the next year. I just thought he was really going to head to WWE and on to different pastures, but
if they are having this now newly minted multi-year relationship, you're having the most WWE guy as your TNA champion. Again, the most WWE guy that hasn't been a WWE guy. Again, UK indie scene, signed to TNA, but bridge that gap. I think him and Jordan Grace, and obviously I think Mickey and Nick Aldis, I think there's such that bridge now, then why not have like, oh, he's going to go this way soon or eventually, but why not have him carry this belt to bridge and fortify even more that working relationship? Because again, when to kind of go backwards, when Kenny Omega had that belt and eventually lost it to Christian, like, you didn't lose it as much as Christian has kind of been in and out of Christian Cage has been in and out of TNA. It didn't feel like Kenny dropped it to like a true feels more TNA than Christian Cage, if that makes sense. And I think I'm hoping that the TNA deal with AEW kind of fizzled real quick. And it's the same thing that I was my concern between NXT and TNA. Like, oh, we're taking all your people, and I'm going to have your belt, as the Kenny was the collector back then. I don't know if it really benefited TNA.
Yeah, no,
and I'm hoping this relationship with WWE benefits TNA. And I think having the belt on Joe, having Joe on NXT, I'm really hoping he shows up in the Rumble. We'll talk about when we get next week to Rumbles. But I don't know. I think it's a smart business decision. He's a workhorse. Like, I'm happy all around.
There's some other takeaways from TNA Genesis is, from one wrestler who just wins the belt and seemingly is staying to another who is seemingly on his way out. Where is Josh Alexander headed to next?
Well, I think at this point it's going to be WWE. I definitely don't see him going to AEW. And again, are you going to put him in NXT? Him and Ethan Page had the tag team, the North, in TNA. For me, I rather see him on like SmackDown. I rather see him on main roster than NXT. I really like the match between him and Santana. I'm a huge fan of Mike Santana. A good match. I love that Mike won, and then Josh was like, out, like, I quit. But for me, Josh Alexander seems more main. I don't know if it'd be like a step back. I don't know, maybe step back is not the right word, but like putting him back with Ethan Page on NXT doesn't feel like a push forward. And again, Josh Alexander
wanted like a fit. I agree with you.
He wanted to leave TNA last year, but he had like an option in his contract, so they kept him another year. So I think he's just ready to be on that main stage. To me, he feels like a SmackDown guy.
See, I disagree. I think he should be on Raw with American. I know he's not an American, but that's he fits. I know, but he fits so perfect. They've done things where like Hacksaw Jim Duggan was part of Team Canada and WCW, so like you could do something with it. I'm just saying.
This was the worst thing.
I know, but it was a storyline. I'm just saying.
I spilled my own glasses at your
People can get dual citizenship. You can do things like that in its storylines. You can do whatever the hell you want. My point is, there's a need for a big muscle in American made, and he would fit the mold to me perfectly for that group. And he could be a breakout star, put him with Gable, and leave them together for a few months, let them dominate, on Raw, or if you want to put them on SmackDown, wherever. And then eventually, if it's the Intercontinental or US title that Gable wins, make that the match. Gable, Josh Alexander. I would love to see it.
I'm more thinking about them feuding because it's literally the Canadian Gable versus American-made Gable. There's such, between both men, Josh Alexander and Chad Gable, how much there's such, descendants, disciples of Kurt Angle. I'd rather see them fight than them be together, but I don't know. I think Josh, to me, for sure, I think it'd be kind of a regression if he goes back to with Ethan on NXT.
Fair. So, Nikki, we have one more takeaway from Genesis. I know you're not the biggest fan, but what were your thoughts on? We did have a return. Tessa Blanchard returned to the TNA ring. She ultimately gets over on Jordynne Grace with Code Breakker and a little nefarious activities.
Yeah, you're being a heel. Again, wrestling fans kind of don't lie. Or shy from our feelings. So them chanting she's a racist during your women's match, not great. Again, I think it says a lot that this was obviously Jordynne Grace is leaving. Obviously, Jordynne Grace is going to WWE. For her to not necessarily, because that's the thing, you go on your back, you do whatever, but it wasn't clean. So I think that says a lot between Jordynne and Tessa. And there was all the backstage footage. You basically see like Tessa trying to like congratulate her or say thank you or whatever, and Jordynne's like nah, and then goes and hugs the people, and then she gets pied in the face, and it's all this cute like they gave her a TNA knockouts belt with like the whole roster signing it for her. Right. So it's a very sweet moment, but she very much was like nah with Tessa. And again, the rumors that she didn't want to do the program with her. So I guess like I don't know if it's protecting Jordynne or Jordynne's like fuck you to Tessa, like we're not doing this clean. But my sentiments for Jordynne is very much the same as Josh. Like, I don't want to see her in NXT. I don't want you to rehash this TNA NXT thing. I want her on main. I want her and Rhea at Mania makes my mouth water. That's what I want to say. And I guess we'll do this at Rumble and our road to WrestleMania. But like that's my dream match. Two big ladies slapping big lady meat. I'm into it.
I think she's definitely going to be in the Rumble. She recently canceled an autograph signing here in New Jersey. So I think it's inevitable that she's going to be in the Rumble. She's, I think she had a great showing last year as champion. I expect something similar this year. And it's going to be both Rumbles. I think are going to be star-studded and loaded. And I think it's interesting to see where, again, with the partnership, all the big names, like potentially Jade coming back, right? You have Becky, Charlotte, Bianca, Liv Morgan, Rhea. Rhea won't be probably Rumble, but there's so many names that I think will be in women's and men's Rumbles, especially women's this year, that it's going to be really exciting to watch. And that's next week's show as we preview.
I know next week's going to be so fun because Royal Rumble is like, I think both ours isn't necessarily my favorite pay-per-view. And this is Royal Rumble season where I rewatch all the Royal Rumbles. So next week is going to be super fun. Make sure you tune in. We're going to be talking predictions, spoilies. Nick has some crazy concoction that we're doing our own Royal Rumble, but we'll get to that later. But
yes, I have a very crazy idea.
I think
we're going to try and do with the regular Rumble.
Yeah, but to wrap up Genesis, I think Jordynne and Joe Hendry, and it would be really cool if Josh Alexander. I hope they all show up at the Rumble. I think there's going to be, I think in both Rumbles, 1 to 2 TNA people.
Lisa. Hey. Coming in. She would love Jordan Grace to win.
I would love it too. I necessarily don't think it's happening.
I think Lisa's a Jordan Grace believer.
But no. At least I think it'd be so fun. Again, we'll get to predictions next week, but I don't necessarily think she's winning, but I think maybe Final 4, maybe Final 3, maybe Final 2. Stay in.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
I know. Let us know in the comments below. What did you think if you watched TNA Genesis? What were your takeaways? What are your thoughts? Joe Hendry winning the world title, the TNA World Championship, Jordan Grace falling to Tessa Blanchard and her return to the ring after 5 years. TNA. A lot to get through. So let us know. We'll open up the phone lines shortly, but you can always comment in as the show goes on, but we'll open up the phone lines a little later to hear from you directly. But Nikki.
Yes.
We move along. We got a lot of wrestling to get through. It's probably like in the upwards of like 11 to
There's so
15.
much. So keep it moving, sister.
Something like 15 hours of wrestling. But we dive into Monday Night Raw. Nikki, overall, a lot of storylines taking place, a lot of interacting or interwoven storylines as we head towards the Royal Rumble, which was kind of initiated last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll ask you first, as ladies first, your overall thoughts on Raw before I give you mine.
I think we kind of probably have the same sentiments. Again, we're setting so much up. Again, like we have to get to the Rumble, and then once we get to the Rumble, it's pedal to the metal to Mania. But then again, it just feels like a lot of talking, no more talking. And the matches that we did have a Raw were great. Again, like Penta being Penta, and I love their booking him super strong and having great matches. But I feel like the ratio between talking segments versus matches, again, I feel like it's more talking.
Yeah, no, there's definitely been a lot of talk. It's been a lot of talk as they head towards Royal Rumble, and a lot of, again, like I said, the interwoven storylines. And for me, I think there's a theory that I have coming, and we talked about this, I think, briefly. I don't know if we talked about it on the show, but I do think that there is a new faction forming, and I do think that there will be some new form of the Shield, because this week, everyone's just looking to find friends. And they didn't even want to, I don't think he really wanted to wrestle the main event, Drew and Seth Rollins. He just wanted to be his friends. So why can't they be friends?
Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? I seen you around for a long, long time. I remember you.
So Nikki, Sami Zayn at the end of Raw, as I just showed us all,
Mm-hmm.
Haluva kicks inadvertently
Mm-hmm.
Seth Rollins. But prior to that, he was approached earlier in the night by Kevin Owens.
Yes.
Who's also seemingly looking for friends. And just like he did last week, Kevin Owens is trying, with Rey Mysterio, was trying to barter for friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
I hope you win the Royal Rumble because we can have a great WrestleMania match and a great WrestleMania moment. And he played to his friendship. You know, his best man at his wedding was Sami Zayn.
Mm-hmm.
And they go down that path to the point where you don't really know what's going to happen on that front. But I don't believe that Sami Zayn, I feel like I'm catching you.
No, please.
I don't
go
believe
on.
that Sami Zayn is going to turn heel and join up with his best friend, former best friend, whatever we're calling him, Kevin Owens. I think that Kevin Owens, and we saw this briefly last week or 2 weeks ago, I want to say, on SmackDown with Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre, he was kind of set up a little bit with by Drew McIntyre's distraction. So I think there will be a new Shield faction forming in WWE that will consist of none other than Kevin Owens, Drew McIntyre, and Seth Rollins. Nikki, your thoughts before you hate all my fantasy booking.
Hate it! I think I hate this because you keep calling it the new Shield. I'm like, why can't it just be a faction? Just because Seth Rollins is in it doesn't make it a new Shield. We don't need a new Shield. Don't use the word Shield. Stat. I also.
What did he call that group when he was with AOP? What were they called?
I don't think they were called anything. Again,
I'm pretty sure he called them.
Don't correct me, but I know he was like that Monday Night Messiah.
Yeah,
and he had his disciples, but I don't think like him and Buddy and Theory had like a name. Or when he briefly had AOP with him. Like, I think he was just the Messiah.
I'm sure they had a group name.
All right, we'll Google it. I don't know. Steven, someone tell us.
Someone in the chat. Let us know.
I don't know. I don't. Again, we like, oh, my enemy and my enemy is my friend. I don't think the three of them need to be a faction. I honestly didn't love. I guess in the storyline it makes sense. I'm not ready for KO and Sammy to be a thing or fight it. Like let's Sammy and KO breathe a little bit from each other because again, if like KO's going down this heel road, I don't want to see this.
KO Sammy.
But
you're okay with my faction, right?
No, I think
as long as they're not called the Shield.
Well, that's the bare minimum, but I don't think those three of them need to be together. I don't think you need them. They need to be a faction. I don't think we need this.
Ladies and gentlemen, I really thought I had her with this one. I thought it was a good.
No, I don't understand the purpose. Again, the motivation is like, oh, we hate.
Yeah, no. So the motivation, let me just to clarify. Okay. So the motivation is that the bloodline have screwed over all these people for years. And that's the idea, is that Drew McIntyre's been screwed out of the World Heavyweight title, whichever iteration, for how many years. Okay. Drew McIntyre's been screwed over for however many years by Roman and his cronies and the bloodline. Same thing with Seth, same thing with KO. Seth is reluctant to join up with them, but now, because of how things are playing out, he's seeing that. And he saw, and remember, Seth even told Sammy, you're being stupid. There's a lot of similar messaging that's going on between Seth Rollins to certain people, Drew McIntyre. They're saying similar things just differently. They're speaking the same language, just saying it differently and maybe more aggressive.
I don't know what does for any of them.
It's a power faction. We're seeing factions all over WWE. You have American Made, you have the Wyatt Six, the Bloodline's been around for the last 14 years. And that's the point, is that it's becoming more of a faction. So now you're going to build a super faction to counter that. And this is the next evolution in the Bloodline saga or storyline.
I don't care. Like, to me, it's just like, you already turned Roman Reigns face. He fought the evil bloodline to get his Ula Fala back. You're not turning Roman Reigns back heel. So you're going to have the heelies them to face,
Yeah, because they feel they're justified in taking WWE. That was what the Shield was always about. It's the same principle, damn it. It's still real to me, damn it.
It's too late, but I feel like everyone just needs to move on.
Nikki doesn't approve.
Hated it.
Because the rumors are like Roman's not going to face any of them at Mania.
No, the faction is forming. It's not going to be complete until around, or probably the night after, I would think, like WrestleMania. But we're seeing. It's a slow build. It's happening.
A 6-month build.
It's not a 6-month build.
A 5-month build.
Settle down, January 32nd over there.
I don't know. Maybe you'd be right, and there'd be this best faction, the best faction ever faction in the history of factions. It just doesn't make sense to me right now.
I am not saying it's going to be a great all-time faction. I think it's a good storyline to continue the messaging that has been started with Drew and that's been said with Drew on both brands and Seth on both brands. They don't like Punk either. Punk's another target that the three of them could potentially go after at some point in time. At least 2 of the 3 of them
I think you're giving this too much credit right now.
I booked it. I'm sure as fuck gonna give it a lot of credit.
I don't know.
Let us know in the comments. Do you like that? Is this a good idea? Am I booking a good? Well, we're not going to call it the Shield. A 3-man power trip, whatever you want to call it. Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins to feud with, take back everyone who's had anything associated with the bloodline, who screwed them over for years.
But you said they're not going to get together till after Mania.
No, no, they're learning because he's trying to do. He doesn't realize yet. I think it can happen. I said, but no. I said at or after WrestleMania. To be clear, at or after WrestleMania.
That is, to be generous, 3.5 months from now. Then they have to form in at or around Mania, and then feud at Backlash, feud at SummerSlam. Like this is. I'm all for long story. No, that's not coming on my face right. I'm all for long booking, but this is just a little much. Long.
From the bottom of my heart, man to man, fuck your story.
That's how I feel. I'm like, at least that's like, I don't think we need this.
No, ladies sticking together.
Lisa, she's my tag team partner in life. It doesn't make. I don't think this is. I'm not anti-faction remotely. I just think this one doesn't make sense with your proposal.
Fair enough. Well,
again,
Lisa disagrees, but I'm sure we'll get more comments. We got a bunch of people in the chat here. Comment in what you're thinking, at least about my booking ideas, or in general about Monday Night Raw. What were your takeaways? Did we miss anything significant that you felt happened on Raw? Let us know in the chat below. Before you do that, hit the old, as we like to say, Samoan spike on the like.
Just very briefly, I did like CM Punk calling Hulk Hogan Dusty. It's Dusty.
Yeah, he said, I wonder if Hulk Hogan's going to be in the Royal Rumble.
No, apparently now he's not even showing up on Saturday night's main event. Apparently now he's been pulled. But also, Brooke Hogan just had twins, so I don't know if they're going to use that as an excuse. Shout out to Brooke Hogan.
That's a good name drop. Shout out to Brooke Hogan. Okay, what's she been up to?
She just had twins.
Well, besides the twins, but like we haven't seen about her.
She had that
music career.
She had that one song that we all jammed to, which I don't think she actually said.
But
it's fine. Moving on.
We move on. So, Nikki, we try to cover all the brands here as much as possible. We move along. AEW Dynamite. Oh, we've got thoughts about thoughts.
Feelings about feelings.
Would you like to start, or should I start?
Do you want to start?
I do want to start, actually. I really do. I was trying to be nice and gentlemanly, but
no, please.
So I will say that Nikki and I turned on, and we actually, this is one of the. Well, no, we watched most of this. Like we Raw, like SmackDown, we usually get too late because of the show. But generally speaking, we watch Dynamite and Raw live. And as soon as Dynamite opened, it's Kenny comes out, and Ospreay, or vice versa, I can't remember. And I said Ospreay came out, and I said immediately it was a face-to-face that they had teased. And I get it. These are the two biggest stars, in theory, or two of the biggest stars on the program. And I said, here's going to be, I anticipated a half hour that we couldn't get back of our lives with them cutting a promo back and forth to each other. But it ended up only being 15 minutes, so touche. It was only 1/8 the program. So good job there. But very confusing. We're going to witness what they're calling on the internet the Omega Powers. And all I want to know is there's a lot of apologies going around. And I'm just very confused as to what the hell's going on. Someone needs to apologize to somebody. in AEW because Kenny, Will. But please help me, Nikki. This is what I witnessed, and I put this together because I'm very confused.
If you're here to apologize and ask for my help, the answer is no chance in hell, because I will never trust someone like you, bruv. Will, you wanted an apology? Maybe it's me that should apologize. I should have trusted you from the beginning. So what do you say?
I'm very confused.
Oh.
Someone needs to apologize to somebody. Or take your buddy Eddie Kingston's promo classes.
Did you see him on? I'm going to go down a rabbit hole about Eddie Kingston. So no, I'll take that back.
Save that for the call-in segment. But Nikki, I just don't know what the hell to think about at least what's going on. I get the two top of the top tippy top stars, but jeez,
it's not. I don't think either of them are known for their promo skills. I think Ospreay has gotten a lot better being in WWE. So, Jesus Christ, AEW, all over the place today. Yeah. I think, again, well, Kenny being in New Japan for so long, you don't cut promos as the same as they do in the States. So it's just like not the best people opening a segment, not saying the right stuff. And again, I don't know how scripted or how not scripted or fly by the seat of the pants. Again, I'm all for not scripted promos, but maybe this needed a little structure.
No, I think all their promos pretty much need kind of some structure because I think he like it's just like I think he anticipates a certain amount of time and then they go like 2 to 3 minutes more longer than.
I think that's the thing because again, if whatever to believe that if Brian was helping with creative and the locker room person and Mox is helping with creative and he's the locker room person, those two don't need scripts. Again, it took also early Bryan Daniel days. Also not great on the mic, and has gotten one of the best. I don't know, great. Moxie can, same as Kingston can, cut a promo on a cookie. You can give that same luxury to your entire roster because it's like again with the Kyle Fletcher promo from 2-3 months ago. That is like it was great, and then went on and on and on and on and on. It's like, all right, let's rein it. Like where
you said, I'm not Will Ospreay for an hour.
Yeah, and it's like, all right, that was great. Then cut it. Why'd you go on for another 10 minutes? Again, this just felt like, I don't know. Again, the promo that they had, and then the interaction with the Don Callis family, and then them being on the scaffolding. It was like 3 different segments that should have felt like one. Or a continuation. Yeah. It's just like, oh, we're fighting, and then we're taking out the Callis family. Again, like watching Will Ospreay's moonsault off the top of that thing, fucking beautiful. And then it's just like
he's Kenny. He's a younger version of Kenny. That's really.
I know, but he got like.
That's why Kenny said he's like your Me Too.
I just ripped out my cord.
Make sure you have power. Don't lose power.
But the little baby haircut. But I don't know. Like again, it's gonna be a great match. It should probably open the Australia show, but again, you're supposed to hook me in and get me to watch the match by your promos, and this is what's supposed to hook you in. If I'm again coming in cold, not knowing Ospreay, not knowing Kenny Omega's story, if I was like newly to this, I'm like, yeah, guys can't talk for shit.
Yeah,
you're not hooking me into this, bruv.
But yeah,
I should have worn my bruv shirt.
It was arguably painful to watch, but Nikki, the promo,
been painful.
Yeah, it has been. You'd argue it hurts, and I'd argue that you know what, that wasn't the only thing that happened. Everybody hurts.
Everybody hurts. Sometimes everybody hurts. Sometimes, so hold on.
So, Nikki, we have new
Ooh.
AEW World Tag Team Champions. The Hurt Syndicate are now AEW World Tag Team Champions in a very dominant victory. How do you feel about the Hurt Syndicate winning?
I feel like I'm I feel like I can play both sides. First, like, shout out Shelton Benjamin having a belt. I just feel like maybe so underrated, underutilized. I think everyone knows that he's so good. And I think maybe WWE did him a little dirty towards the end. So I'm super excited for them to have gold in AEW. I'm just a little upset at the timing and feel real bad for Private Party. I said this to you when they walked out. I was like, someone shit in their cereal. They came out like they knew, like they did their dance, but like you just felt like they were gonna lose. And for them, I felt like it was, again, not my favorite thing between like them and the Bucks, but like they finally won the belts off the Bucks who had it for so long. It was such a big moment.
Well, they were supposed to break up if they didn't win.
Yeah,
that was the whole thing.
Such a big thing. Such a like, oh my god, we won the belts. We took down these EVPs. We took down the Young Bucks who had these belt hostage for it was over 100 days. It was something crazy. But it's like, oh, they won. It was so excited because I really feel like, and it's sad that Mark Quinn was injured for a while, and I think they were like, again, you have these bright little stars in these kids, and it's like, oh, Tony's finally doing something with them. Put the belts on them, like, you know. So it depends on like, does the man make the belt or the belt make the man? And I think maybe like this gave a little rub to Private Party, and then like can help them elevate, and then they just get fucking squashed by the Hurt Syndicate.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I get the feeling they're building up again, Hurt Syndicate, like this dominant faction, right? So to me, this was like it was a glorified squash. It really was. Like, and it's really kind of bothersome to some extent, but like that's what they've been presenting the Hurt Syndicate.
Yeah, just like them just being this dominant force. Again, like Bobby Lashley, and like
he's so over. Like they were cheering his name the whole time. And for a second in the beginning, I thought they were chanting like "party," and I was like, "Oh, party, party!" And I'm like, "Oh, good for them." They're more over the, but they were. Yeah, it was Bobby. It was Bobby. And then like he just beats the ever-loading crap out of him. They had putting together the video for this. I was like, "Oh, let me like I try and make it look as good as possible." And usually the matches are balanced, right? Like this was not. They had that one highlight where they do the tag move, and in the very beginning of the video, and that was it. And it was like a kind of like a weird. It was a version of like Shelton's move too, the pay dirt type deal. It was like a tag team version. Anyway, it was just glorified Bobby Lashley. And to me, this whole group is to put over because there's really nobody that's going to get put over other than Bobby Lashley in this group. Right? I mean, Shelton's going to get the tag title. He's phenomenal in the ring. I get it. But now this is just, I think this is something to keep them busy for the time being away from Swerve. And because the Swerve Bobby rematch is going to be the one that they want to do. And that should be, to be honest, that should center somehow around the world title would be nice. But if he ever makes his way back to that.
I'm just worried about like, who's going to take the belt off them? You can't have Young Bucks come back and beat up Bobby Lashley. I'm sure that's gonna fucking happen, but it just makes I'm just worried they put themselves in a corner right now. Because if the Young Bucks came back and beat Private Party again, like got it. But I don't want to see Nick Jackson versus Bobby Lashley.
No, I agree. But like you don't have you can also triple threat, a ladder match, some sort of match like that where they don't have to get pinned to lose the belt and put it on somebody else. The problem that has been with AEW, in my opinion, is like now you have Rey Fenix and Penta split up, so you don't have the Lucha Brothers. FTR is still there, and FTR is still a great, obviously one of the best tag teams, but their tag team division that was so vaunting, is that the word? Whatever. So phenomenal for the like 3-4 years ago, right? That we talked about is gone. I don't
Mhm.
see, and I honestly think that, and this is not to sound disrespectful to Private Party. The reason Private Party has the belts is because the tag title division has been the tag division has been so diluted and not built up at all since all those guys left.
I don't think diluted's the right word. Again, it's like Tony can't book his kids and can't bring up stars. Again, we talk about Top Flight. You talk about Action Andretti and Leo Rush. It's just like there are your lower tag teams that you can build up. Again, where is Reynolds and Silver? Where is Dark Order? Like, oh my God, I miss Johnny Hungy. Remember when Johnny Hungy was a thing? Like, just
Remember when Dark Order was a thing?
I can say, it's like, I'm pretty forever. I was just like, you have people in place. You're just not using them. Again, he has his toy box, and it's just like, I'm not going to play with you anymore. And it's like, the people are there. You're just not doing jack with them.
Well, yeah.
And again, I think the story that Private Party had, like, where if, again, the SCU did the same thing. If we don't win this, then we're done. And I won it. And I felt like that was such a good feel-good moment, and they did absolutely jack all with it.
I feel like with Tony, it's like if you're in his favor, you just got to make that illustrious list.
You just made the list.
And you get a title, and you get a title, and you get a title.
And I don't know.
But oh, go ahead.
No,
This is
me cutting rapping. It's just like, I'm excited for Michelle and Benjamin. I get them putting the belts on this bigger heel tag team, but I just feel for, again, these AEW original little baby pickles that are not getting anything. Again, two WWE, again, I know Bobby Lashley's been all over the place, but again, these two WWE guys getting belts over kind of homegrown kids.
No, it's fair. It's fair. But I don't know. Let us know in the comments below. What did you think of AEW Dynamite, Bobby Lashley, and the Hurt Syndicate winning the AEW Tag Team titles? Did you like it? Do you think it was a waste? Let us know in the comments below. We want to hear from all you, as a bunch of new people are chiming in the chat, Nikki.
Huh?
Well, populating into the room. So we put a wrap and put a bow on our AEW Dynamite portion
Of the evening.
But Nikki,
yeah,
let's get to it. So we've got SmackDown coming up shortly in about an hour.
Mm-hmm.
A little over an hour. We're doing good with time. Very proud of us.
For once.
Yeah, we never. Well, who's to say? It's still early, but now.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get into it. Saturday night's main event is coming. The first of 2025, right?
Is the first of 2025.
First of 2025. So if you missed it, there is 4 matches on the card. But if you missed it, let's catch you up on what the card looks like for tomorrow night. Nikki, Saturday.
I love the music this week, babe. I'm into it.
Good.
Again, every time Nick does a video, I'm having a dance party.
Well, if you like the music, hit the old like. If you don't like it, hit the like anyway. Nikki, Saturday nights.
All right for fighting.
I almost did it, and then I was like, someone's gonna get upset. I'm gonna get a cease and desist if we use that on our show.
Well, he doesn't use it anymore.
I know he doesn't, because it seemed like it didn't really like fit I mean, even it kind of did. I get it.
Well, it's better than he has now.
But yeah, I'm not so sure. So I'll let you.
No, I think we were so excited about the first one, and I feel like sort of tempered our expectations. I feel everyone was like, "This is PLE pay-per-view quality stuff," and it feels just like a little more elevated Raw, or not quite. Not a house show, but a little more than Raw, but a little less than a pay-per-view. Again, it's just like, it was great. We talked about when we did the review. The first thing Drew McIntyre came out, like, you have this 6'3", 4 big dude, and then you have Jey Uso come out with your big fun baby face. Like, this is just kind of like a grab to these shows are not for us. It's not for the hardcore schmarks that break this down.
For you.
It's not, again, and really basically.
You think this show is for you?
You better think this song is about you.
Well, Nikki, let's get into the show. Yeah. We always start with the ladies. We have Rhea Ripley defending against your personal favorite.
Yes, queen.
Nia Jax, the queen. Nikki, so what are your expectations?
I think this Mommy's gonna win because Mommy's always on top. But I think having Nia again, I think that made it known that she's now on the Raw brand. I think this is a good having Rhea go against a bigger opponent. Is a good kind of like, this is the little feeder feud between her and Mania.
Well, this is the rematch from. Oh, where's Rhea from? Australia? No, Australia.
Yeah, she's from Australia.
All right, yeah. So this is a rematch from her Australia match,
which was a year ago. So again, I get Rhea getting the belt back, and I feel like this is like optic wise on this show that's not meant for us, this makes total sense. Because again, Rhea's winning, take down this big terrifying heel and have your babyface come and defeat the heel and then go on to Mania.
Yeah, it gets what's weird, not weird, I don't want to say weird about it, but it's just odd about it because it's literally a week before Royal Rumble. And Royal Rumble, in a lot of cases, there's what I call a transitional challenger. Like there's transitional champions, transitional challengers. I think Nia Jax is a transitional challenger in that you can put her right in the main event and she's a legitimate threat to win it. To kind of your point, she's just kind of thrusted it. But I feel terrible because the money. Like, I would have loved this match to be Tiffy Stratton, Nia Jax, because they're keeping Nia away from Tiffany, and that should have been, in my opinion, a match that's going to have. They're going to keep that match away for a long time, and it's going to be a waste.
Which is every Money in the. I guess in the Triple H era, there's no automatic rematch clauses anymore, and they moved her away because again, spoilies. The woman that wins the Royal Rumble is going after Tiffany. I think that you can move over there. Again, moving her to Raw, having her have that match with Rhea. Again, this is for your casual people. Having your hot babyface champion take down this big monster to bring all your eyes, because you're bringing eyes like, oh, you like this, and next week turn on Netflix or Peacock. I don't remember which one it's on. To watch her again.
See, Lisa agrees. Why Saturday Night Main Event happening a week before the Rumble? The pay-per-view worthy matches, in her opinion, and mine. I agree. Well, okay.
Well, I'm just saying because we're in this Triple H Netflix era now that he does a beautiful 2-hour, 45-minute PLE that's like a 5-match card, and I think. The Royal Rumble is again, I like open with the women's, have your 2-3 matches, close with the men's. So I think the matches that are not going to be at the Royal Rumble are happening at this Saturday night's main event.
Right.
I don't necessarily think they're. Well, I think maybe it would be Lyra or Chelsea. I think you're going to have a mid-card women's match at Rumble. The World and WWE women's are not.
The rumor is Chelsea. That just I read something earlier today that the rumor is that Chelsea.
So it's going to be, you have the two Rumbles. Obviously, we know it's going to be Cody, KO in the ladder match. So you're going to have a women's match in between that, obviously for the mid-cards. But, like, that's it.
That's true.
So, again, you wanted to put Rhea and Nia on this bigger platform. We'll get to the other matches later. But I think, again, it's wanting to put a spotlight on these people, on these championships, on these matches that you can't do at Rumble.
No, that's fair. That's fair. So the question becomes, as this is one of the 4 matches that are listed, who wins? Are you Team Rhea or are you Team Nia? As people are coming in the chat, a bunch of people are in. Welcome in. Who do you got? Do you have Rhea? Do you have Nia? Let us know in the chat below.
We can all put our hands up in the air. Lisa and I are going to scream, Rhea Ripley.
So you're not a yes queening.
No, I'm sorry. Because I naturally, as much as I love Rhea Ripley, I didn't really agree her taking the belt off Liv. She's not dropping it to Nia a week before the Rumble. When Nia just lost the belt, like it's not.
Well, she's just gonna kill her with her words.
Is your little chicken tender slut?
So let us know in the chat who you got. Are you Team Rhea, Team Nia? Will we see Nia?
Team Chicken Tenders.
Chicken tenders. Team non-chicken tenders. I don't think anyone's. Well, I guess vegetarians are. But we digress. As we move into part 2, or, well, match 2, what we consider match 2. So I will dive into it. I just kind of I don't have a graphic for it because they didn't even have a graphic for it, but we will see Jacob Fatu taking on Braun Strowman, which was hyped up as the Bloodline took out Braun Strowman last week. Any thoughts on this match? Or
I sort of hope it's a glorified squash that Jacob just batters Braun. Again, it's
the Bronson Reed treatment.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing that like you want to put over Jacob, obviously, because now there's rumors that like the blood like Solo's bloodline is not going to be referred to as a bloodline anymore, and I think that the factions going to be broken up, and obviously Jacob is your star.
I feel like the Samoan SWAT team 2.0 would be cool.
But because they have to push Jacob to the moon. Again, we haven't really talked about what happened on SmackDown, but like Solo like tried to cut a promo, but everyone was booing him, so he left. And then Jacob picked up the mic and is like, boy can talk, boy has a prettiest moonsault, like push him to the moon. So having him beat Strowman is going to do wonders. Like have this crazy Samoan werewolf take down this big monster, because he's like the monster among men. Again, having this smaller quote unquote person take down the big monster. Hello.
Yeah, no, it will go a lot further for Jacob. It's interesting though. Like I wonder, like where does Thomas stand in all this? Because we'll touch on it. He's challenging LA Knight tonight in a singles match. Like Jacob's obviously the breakout star, but it's like weird where Solo goes from here, where Tama goes from here, where Tonga Loa, whenever he comes back from whatever next injury he had, eye, arm, ear, legs,
full body cast,
like whatever he's in. So like I don't know so eventually Jacob's going to be the breakout star. Well, breakup.
Both.
Yeah, and like it's just such a random single match to kind of throw in. I feel like the injuries that happened to Bronson Reed and Tonga Loa, even Tonga Loa like threw off a lot of their plans.
I think Braun can
Jimmy-
read more than anything. Again, I broke a toe. You walk that off. Not worried about Big
Or
Jim.
cut that off, right, Bob Marley? Or no, he cut off his foot, I think.
What?
Bob Marley had like something. He had, I forget what he had, but he didn't want to cut off. He ended up having to cut off his foot or something. Here's toe. Someone will correct me in chat. Where's Steven when I need him?
Oh, Jesus. This is the fact checking. I thought we were going to go down here, but
Yeah.
Newsies, again, going back to Jacob Braun Strowman, Jacob is obviously winning.
Yeah, I agree. I tend to agree.
Because, again, the optics of you're bringing in new fans. Jacob comes out and like who is this crazy person? How big he is, and he does the moonsault, or the other. What's not the corkscrew thingamajiggy he does? I don't know the technical term besides thingamajig. But he does the moonsault, but he also does the twisting, when he jumps out the. All right, you're not helping. But again, and being a bigger guy, doing the high flippy things, I think that's very much going to grab your attention. It's like, oh, these are two very big men. Obviously, Braun's bigger. And then having the lesser of the big men doing the flippy things.
Yeah.
You'll be like, what is this about?
He'll look super strong.
Yeah.
In a victory. I think, yeah. And we tend to agree that it's going to be Jacob Fatu going over Braun Strowman. But let us know if you disagree in the chat below. We've got a bunch of people coming in, a lot of people on Twitter or X, whatever it's called now. We got people on YouTube, so chime in as you see fit. But Nikki, we move along.
Yes.
Talk about big meaty men, smacking big meaty men. Bron Breakker against the never before Intercontinental Champion.
I'm worried. I'm sticking to my guns. I am saying Bron Breakker all day. I am worried they're going to give it to Sheamus. Because again, he's never won a thing. He's never done a thing. But again, I feel like I have a little bit of faith in Triple H that he's pushing these young little babies. That Bron Breakker's a star. He comes out, everyone's barking. Where my dogs at? Sheamus doesn't fucking need it. He does not need this belt. It's things like Jake the Snake, who we love and adore, He was never world champion. Does that take away anything from his career? Absolutely fucking not. If Sheamus never became IC champion, no one cares. That does not, him winning the belt does not elevate or does anything. He's still in 20 years going to be a Hall of Famer. Maybe probably less than 20 years. I feel like Bron Breakker needs to walk into Mania as champion.
Jack the Snake.
Is that what I said?
Ed's chiming in, and Ed, you know what happens when Ed shows up, it just all goes craziness. But I tend to agree. So here's the thing. So I thought about this, and this week we almost thought about doing like Ed would love this. Wrestling's greatest what ifs. I don't know why I opened up that can, but we were talking about this week about hypotheticals, and that's generally how I come up with some of the concepts for the show, right? And the things, sometimes it's just like fantasy booking and things I don't want to see. So creatively writing a way around how I don't have to see what I don't want to see. And for me this week, it was John Cena not winning the Royal Rumble. And here's how I came to this conclusion. John Cena wants to create history, right? Be the first 17-time world champion, right? Okay, whatever. If we don't want to see him break Ric Flair's record, which I feel like it's kind of a debatable thing. It's actually something we could probably do a whole show on, just debating should he, shouldn't he. But anyway, if you don't want to see that, and in his last year, he wants to do something historic. Something John Cena has never done is win the WWE Intercontinental title. Bron Breakker is a rising star, going to be in the main event scene. Sheamus has never won the belt. I could see some sort of weird triple threat at WrestleMania that sees John Cena, Sheamus, and Bron Breakker together. And maybe, again, there's so much intrigue around who again, the biggest thing with wrestling is if I don't know who's going to win, whether it's the Rumble, whatever it is, why not? And for that, there's so many people that could benefit from that. Bron Breakker beating both of those guys at a WrestleMania match. Sheamus winning his first Intercontinental title. John Cena winning his first Intercontinental title, like making history in his last year. There's so much that you could create in that moment. I'm just saying, Royal Rumble is next week. I could totally see some sort of triple threat, and I would be okay with it. This is how I would book it. I'd find a way to book a triple threat. We saw it a couple years ago, and Sheamus didn't get it. I'm telling you, it's
okay. Go back and watch Gunther, Sheamus, Drew at Mania 38. Right? Or is that 30? No, 38. 39. Anyway, Hollywood, whatever one that was. I love you, but I hate it. Ahead of that, there's no way John Cena is going to be in a triple threat for the IC belt. Again, I'll get to that next week. Again, you want to build up, like, Sheamus doesn't need this. Bron Breakker needs this. Again, with Gunther holding the belt for 666 days, it's your workhorse belt. It should be the work. Make that your belt. Like, I'm kind of upset there's not been enough Bron Breakker on Raw, to be honest. And having, like, I would love for him to do what kind of Cena did with the US belt. Like, have these open challenges. Have him have these great matches with other young kids or older kids or whatever. I'm very worried they're going to put this belt on Sheamus. But I hope Paul, keep it on Breakker. I want Breakker to walk in to Mania as champ. I would love for him to walk out, but we'll get there when we get there.
Who you got?
I'm going Breakker. It hurts, and I'm worried, but it should be Breakker.
I tend to agree with you here. I think Bron Breakker is going to retain, but I do think that idea that I just planted in all your heads.
Hated it.
I don't think you may hate it, but I think it has a lot of fruit.
It's gonna be shitty fruit.
Whatever. Cereal. Anyway,
my words. Don't use my language.
Anyways, so we move on. We're not really going to touch on it because there is that contract signing between Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes and Shawn Michaels will be there. But I feel like it'll be just another segment that we don't really need to acknowledge that much.
I think they just want the optic of HBK holding the wing eagle again.
Probably. That sounds pretty
But again, I don't like them using a pay-per-view spot to do a contract signing to set up another pay-per-view.
Well, I mean,
but
I
digress.
PLE thing, but it kind of. So anyway, we get into our main event, what we presume might be the main event for the evening. Well, should be.
Yes.
Gunther defending the World Heavyweight title against main event Jey Uso. Forgot about Jey. Nikki, what are your expectations? And could we see an upset?
It's the same. My same feelings about Bron Breakker. No, I'm worried that they're gonna pull the trigger. But again, I said this last week. I don't think you need to win a Royal Rumble or win the Elimination Chamber to go after Jey. I feel like Gunther's this big, strong, dumb. God damn it, let's go with the belt. Like, he should walk in to Mania as champion, whether he wins or not at Mania, whatever. But I think it's gonna be like the Priest thing. They're gonna have a great match, and I think Jay's gonna look phenomenal. But Gunther's gonna win. I'm worried it's not going to be clean because I feel like his run hasn't been necessarily clean. But I feel like before him with Jay, I feel like he was kind of leaning towards turning facey. But I don't know. I'm going to be, as much as I love Jey Uso, I'm going to be real upset if he wins tomorrow.
So I have some thoughts, and in the beginning, earlier in the show, I presented the idea of a potential new faction. We're not going to call it the Shield, but a Shield-like faction, box-like structure. Shield-like faction with Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, and Kevin Owens. Right? 3 main event superstars trying to retake the company because they felt like it was taken over by the bloodline. Okay. And CM Punk as well. Cancers to the company, who they feel are cancers, right? And that being said, with that theory in mind, I do think it lends some credibility to Jey Uso winning the world title here and making them, because the 3 people that I mentioned are all already main event stars. So what if they went after each individual belt, right? You have KO going after Cody on SmackDown, and then maybe on Raw, it's Seth Rollins or Drew McIntyre going after, maybe in succession, going after Jey Uso to keep that going and further that storyline for a while. I don't know. I think, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if you go down that path of what's next for everyone in this whole bloodline saga and elevating them, elevate the one person that needs to get elevated the most, I think, to a potentially, or could be a main event stat, is Jey Uso. I think he has more potential than Sami Zayn in terms of becoming a main eventer in WWE. Everyone's left, whether it's Solo, I guess maybe Jacob. Jacob has more potential than him, but I'd probably be heel on the heel side of things. So like, he's the one who could benefit the most. I'm just saying, I'm not ruling it out. And if my, Shield 2.0 version, whatever you want to call it, my faction comes to fruition, Jey Uso, main event Jey Uso as being world champion makes sense. And he's so over, you don't want to, probably more importantly, you don't want to lose the momentum that he gains every week. And Gunther has had zero momentum as world champion, in my opinion.
Okay.
He's gotten wins, but he's gotten very weak wins.
Would it be more, if we're going to play your devil's avocados, would it be more impactful for him to win at Saturday night or for him to win Elimination Chamber, walk into Mania, and then take the belt? That's more impactful.
Who, Jay?
Yeah. So, again, spoilers for next week, but I think Cena's winning, and then and he's going after Cody, and then whoever wins Elimination Chamber is going after Gunther. Again, I don't think.
Give it to Sheamus for a week, complete the collection, and then have him lose it right back. Sorry, that's wrong match.
I get it, and that's probably gonna happen. But I think Sheamus is kind of above. Again, like my Jake the Snake kind of reference, and it's like, does the belt make the man or the man make the belt? I don't think necessarily. But they're probably going to give it to him because they made such a big fucking thing about it.
All right, so with that point, to get back to the match at hand,
okay,
does the man make the belt or does the belt make the man? Because to me, Gunther, he's not going to break any records as a world champion. He's broken the records in a corner. This reign has been very lackluster. He has won. He's retained the belt and won the belt thanks to Finn Balor. He has lost to Cody Rhodes as champion at Crown Jewel. He has not looked strong. I'm just saying, at this point, it might even be a mercy kill to give it to Jay and just say, hey, let's let Jay get the momentum and maybe he can be a bigger champion and give Gunther another run at it like 6 months down the line. I'm just saying.
I love you, but this is
unpopular opinion.
This is what you're. Oh, Bill, handle that. Oh no, it's such. So you can't take the shitty, like, weird Survivor Series, like, this is our Riyadh belt and he lost to Cody at Saudi Arabia. Like, that to me is out.
Okay.
Like, to me that doesn't count. And I'm just like, but Finn helping him win the belt was to further Finn Priest, not to screw with Gunther. But again, he had the IC belt, and that's what the whole. Again, you're like, oh, it's literally 3 people have had this belt. We set this belt up because Roman Reigns was not doing anything with the actual belt, and this was like the workhorse belt of the championship belts, and that's why Seth Rollins had it for so long. I don't want it. Making me lose my train of thought now because I see you.
Ah,
I
I
see
got her
you
so
making
flustered.
faces.
She's so flustered.
Oh. You made me fucking lose that much. Now, Gunter, workhorse. Again, like, I don't. Cena's going to run the Rumble. Whoever's going to win Elimination Chamber is going after Gunter or that belt. You're not going to have to win a chamber to go after Jey Uso. I think it's more impactful for Jey to win the Elimination Chamber and then go after Gunter. Again, the same kind of thing with the tag belts in AEW. I'm not necessarily your 90s Attitude Era kid. You're used to belts changing hands on Raw. I feel like if Gunter is going to drop the belt, it's not going to be at a Saturday night's main event. It's going to be at a pay-per-view. And right now he's not booked for Royal Rumble. So the next is, again, you got an Elimination Chamber. So again, Cena's winning, going after Cody. Whoever wins Elimination Chamber, I think is more impactful for Jey to win Elimination Chamber and go win the belt at Mania.
That's fair. Well, Lisa's agreeing with me on Gunter not being the face of the company compared to Cody.
I think you're all doing Gunter a lot of fucking disservice.
And he's packing and smoking dudes, according to Ed. But I don't know. So, Nikki, the question is...
I think you all need to recognize...
you better recognize, like D'Lo Brown.
I feel like you're doing my Gunter wrong.
Acknowledge me!
Acknowledge Gunter. I don't necessarily agree with all the booking that he's had, but he's not fucking losing to Jey on a Saturday on Peacock.
That's fair. So yeah, let us know in the chat below. What do you think?
Way to get there.
Who you got winning this match? I don't know. I really, part of me thinks that like it would be such a curveball to just do it.
You already changed all the belts. All the belts have already been like, besides your two, like, it doesn't make sense for Jey to win this belt at a Peacock. Like, it doesn't. Again, having him win the chamber, winning at Mania would be so much. You want to talk about fucking main event Jey? Him winning it.
Yeah, no.
I don't. I could be wrong. We'll be talking about this next week, and like he's the champion now. I would hate it. I would hate it so much.
Well, we'll see. Let us know in the comments below who you got winning this match. I think ultimately, gun to my head, yeah, I think Gunter probably retains, but I'm just saying you could lean down the path of giving it before he loses all his momentum to Jey Uso.
Yeah. I don't. Again, I don't think Jey needs the belt. The people they have behind him, the great, again, you bitched at me. You rewatched Raw the next night or 2 nights ago, and he was like, "Oh, it's Andrews." Like he came out like 20 minutes fucking later, and they got interrupted by Gunter.
I know, but
like,
everyone's eating the whole time.
Everyone's so behind him, and I feel like maybe Gunter needs his belt because I'm the only one that likes him.
Hey, Bump, welcome to the happy hour. Welcome on in.
Yelling about Gunter. Tell us what you feel about Gunter.
Lisa's got a comment about Gunter.
Lisa,
he definitely deserved the championship. See, I agree with it. He definitely deserved the championship. I'm not taking that away from him. However, he became the champion, and that was it. I feel like he's done nothing. Exactly, nothing.
Yeah, well, is it Gunter or shitty booking?
Debatable, but I don't know. If you think Gunter has done nothing, hit the like. If you think he's done something, comment. How about that? We'll do something.
No, okay. We can move on because I will. Where's that or me? I don't know. I think if I've said this 400 times, we're going to talk about this 400 times next week.
I know.
New
topic. Well, Nikki, we are about to open up the phone lines. Before we open up the phone lines, we have one last quick little segment if you want to dive into SmackDown for the
tonight.
Yeah, there is. And we're doing decent with time. So we preview SmackDown tonight. There was only 2 matches listed for SmackDown as of when we did pre-production.
Which is interesting because now they're 3 hours.
Yeah, and you'd think that they'd have more than 2 matches.
And again, when we went
2
live,
Iron Man matches and a Royal.
we went live an hour and 20 ago.
They should do a 30-man battle. No, a 30-man battle royal to get like 2 or 3 spots in the Royal Rumble.
Well, now they're saying that you just have to declare now.
I don't like that.
Oh, I love that.
It's like running for office.
Well, you think it's too because
You
again
need a
you
certain
have
amount of
like
signatures?
the top of the card be like, I declare, and then Kofi Kingston has to beat like 400 people to like get a spot, which is gonna be in. We'll talk about this tomorrow. I don't want to digress.
Pump's chiming in about the last segment. Gunther sucks. They need to push Jay already. He has a small single title reigns. Yeah, he does. They gave him the Intercontinental title, Jay, and it was wait. Yeah, like they gave him the Intercontinental title for no reason, in my opinion, just to give him a quick belt with a momentum because he was so over. Complete waste, in my opinion. Yeah, that's why I think they potentially, again, I'm not going to put too much money on it because I don't think it happens on Saturday night's main event right before Royal Rumble.
That was the thing. He won the belt and the bloodline took it away from him, and that's why he realigned with Roman Reigns to fight at Survivor Series in War Games. He had to have the thing, a pretty thing, for bloodline to take it away from him. That's 100% why that happened.
Well, speaking of bloodline, there is some bloodline matches going on tonight. Del Donda is wrestling LA Knight tonight. So this is because the bloodline interfered in LA Knight's US title match. Again, we're just
threw him the previous 2 weeks ago, he threw them out the building.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just continuing the last month. Yeah. I wonder if now the bloodline just kind of dissipates into the mid card.
Well, that's the rumor that they're not going to be called the bloodline. I think this will be a fun match. Again, I think Tom was kind of like stuck with his brother a little bit. And again, if you're aware of God and their stuff in New Japan, like he's actually a really good wrestler. And I feel like him and LA Knight is going to have like a fun little match. I don't know if it leads to anything. Again, I think LA is taking the belt off Shinsuke. But again, a fun little TV match I'm here for.
Speaking of which, the only other match listed, Pretty Deadly and MCMG. You got faces win. The Guns.
Again, obviously the Guns are winning. Obviously, them and DIY are going to do this little dance for, I'm assuming, Mania. I love Pretty Deadly so much, but they're such like the great tag team to kind of put in that slot. Again, if you know, you love them, and they're the tag team that's going to take the pin.
I think there is the contract signing maybe tonight, but
whose contract?
I don't know. Steven put it in the chat.
Steven, whose?
I'm not sure.
Who?
Oh, it might have been talking about the last segment because we're still getting the timing down with this whole.
I know we're a little
YouTube
delayed
thing, but regardless, SmackDown is coming out your way in about 37 minutes. So before we get to all that, Nikki, we get to open up the phone lines. So we have a bunch of people in the chat. Feel free to chime in. Hit the old like, subscribe on YouTube, X. Follow us, Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour. We are here every Friday at 6 Eastern talking about everything wrestling related the whole week. So, Nikki, before we get to let's get to catch up on comments before.
Oh yes, please.
Let's see. Pump B Slayer, new listener here. Let's be real. Jay isn't winning the title. Solo's going to fall off. Kevin is going to lose his push. People are going to realize Cody Rhodes ain't doing crap. And was Travis Scott smoking the crowd? Okay. Yes. There was a lot. So much to take in.
Yeah, agree. Jay's not winning. So I said like when Solo loses fell on, he's going back to NXT. I don't necessarily agree that KO is gonna fall off because KO has been so prominent since 2015. But yeah, no. And Jay literally made a comment. He was like, "I know he was smoking, but I didn't inhale." I'm like, "All right, Bill Clinton, get out of here."
Seriously, but yeah, there was a lot going on in that Raw.
Go big or go home, baby.
Exactly. Let me make sure I get everyone in. I don't know if I got this one.
Who's one?
Well, it was the Sheamus one. I think it was Steven. Give it to the Sheamus for a week, complete the collection, and then have him lose it right back.
I don't like the hot potatoes of the hot potatoes. Like this year again, like like coming off the 600-day reign, losing it to Bron Breakker, or losing it to Sammy, and then Breakker, and then Jay, and then I don't. We grew up in such a time again because I'm old as fuck. Grew up at the time that they hot potatoed all these belts, and I just would like an error again, like him having the belt for 600 days.
Yeah, no, I mean the longer reigns seem more prestigious. Well, they are more prestigious, but they also the person who wins then gets a little bit more clout by winning. Like it's just it does more.
Yeah.
It does more for the person who's actually dropping it, gaining it. Like I don't know. There's also too many belts. We talked about this. Even WWE still has too many belts. Like I don't think you're over there moving around.
No, he moved. I'm sorry. Our dog's sleeping behind us, and he moved, and my brain went.
Jackson's he's in his own world. He's living his best life right now. But that being said, we open up the phone line, so it's in the chat below. But apparently, some of our regulars let me know that we're having some issues. So I put it in the chat in the comments, and I think I tried to pin it, or I started. I think that makes it pin it. But let's try it again. I'm going to put the link into the chat here as we go. Call in. Notice Nikki just dips out. Look at her. Just leaving me like that. So we're putting the call in link in here. And bam. There's the call in link. So we're going to open up the phone lines. You click in the call in link. It's the StreamYard link. It's going to take you to another page. So here's the thing. You go to the other page. You type in your name. Mute your YouTube page. There'll be two windows open. Not to be an IT expert because I don't play one on TV, nor do I know anything about IT. But I know enough about StreamYard to know that. So you click in the link. You put your name in. We want to hear what you're drinking, what you're thinking, any of the topics from this week, any of the topics professional wrestling this week in general. That's the concept of the show. It's a call-in concept, so we want to hear from all of you. Let me get to one last comment here. Punk Beast Slayer. Is it just me or does no one care that Punk was gone for 6 years, yet we treat him like a 20 Roman Reigns? Nobody. I don't necessarily agree with that, though. So, to me, I think he gets a bigger pop than probably 90% of the roster. Well, definitely 90% of the roster, but I don't know. I don't think he gets treated like badly at all. I think he's really put over a lot of people. I should take that back. He hasn't put over anybody yet. That's actually my one big criticism over Punk is that he hasn't put over anybody. And like Drew could have probably benefited from winning in the Hell in a Cell. I know storyline didn't really necessarily make sense. And it just seemed like Seth probably should have won that match to me. I don't necessarily think he's put anyone over, but he's still a major star. You see the reaction he had on Raw was incredible. I think Ed agrees with me. Touche. Yeah, it's not like the crowd was. Exactly. That's kind of my point. Is I think that he was pretty over on that front. And Nikki is back. Bring her in.
So you want to read that same Punk?
I'll read it back to you.
Yes.
So Punk Beast Slayer thinks it's just me or he thinks no one cares that Punk was gone for 6 years and we treat him like a 2013 Roman Reigns nobody.
I don't know if I agree with that. So Punk. So the Roman Reigns of 2013, you're equating to CM Punk of now. Or am I misunderstanding?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. Like, I'm trying to think back on 2013 Roman Reigns. Is it like he was shoved down our throat and we didn't really want
No,
it?
because I was at the back-to-back Royal Rumbles when we booed the shit out of Batista and we booed the shit out of Roman Reigns and we booed the shit out of Rey Mysterio because he wasn't Daniel Bryan. I did the back-to-back Royal Rumbles when it was because fuck Pennsylvania. We were in Pittsburgh and then it was in Philly. Like, that hot second, we were all about Roman Reigns because it wasn't Batista. So we were Team Roman Reigns for a point, and then the next year, and like Vince McMahon got his heart on, it was like Roman Reigns. And again, I think it's very much as wrestling fans, like you don't tell us who the champion is. We'll dictate who the champion is. Again, I think when Cody Rhodes came back, we were so fucking excited about like finishing his story and him doing his thing. I think I'm the wrong person maybe to talk about CM Punk because again, he got me
very close.
I'm so close to this thing. Again, he was like very much was a 90s attitude kids. I fell off during the ruthless aggression era because girls can't like wrestling, and then came back because a friend of mine was like, "You would fucking love CM Punk," and CM Punk got me back into wrestling. And when he left, I was at the Royal Rumble, his last Royal Rumble, like I was there. And you just saw him fucking laying there and didn't want to do anything. And hearing what happened at the Raw the next day, maybe you can call in and explain your point a little better. I don't necessarily agree, but I would love to have this debate with you.
And it's very fascinating. So, yes, hold on. Let me get back.
I'm sorry.
Pump Beast Slayer. Yeah, definitely. Call in the link below. So I put it in the chat. Or YouTube chat. I hope it's on X as well.
Yeah.
I know Pump's going nuts over it. Pump, call in. We'll get to your comments. We're gonna open up the phone lines, Nikki. We got a bunch of people watching in. Chime in right in the chat below. Let us know what you're drinking, what you're thinking here on a Friday night as we preview Saturday night.
So right.
Feels so right on a Friday night. Nikki, get ready and find it now. We have so many things.
And you got too many things about your things.
But Nikki, you're my little blondie. So I need to ask you to do one thing and hit the snare. All right, Nikki. We got a couple of regulars. One has been trying to get on for a while now.
What is happening?
So I think because he's put so much effort into it, he's got to be the first.
Say his name and he appears.
I believe in Steven.
Nailed it.
Found it.
We gotta make you work for it, baby.
I swear to science, man. The contortions I had to make to get in this time, I swear.
What
I think I think I inadvertently signed up for a few things. So,
See what now?
like, what's Temu? Temu's good, right?
If you want a tiny little cat couch.
So does this mean by association I also am TNA champion?
I think so.
Yes, I think
You
you're
appear
TNA
when
champion
we-
adjacent.
And
At least. You know, Steven, you know now, because I've been waiting for this, you could barely say
It should have been me. It should have been me. It should have been me.
no, I don't think TNA would appreciate it because I can't pull off the Scottish accent without being very creatively profane.
fair
As
enough.
I've learned from Scottish friends of mine. So, well, I'm here now. So,
What you got, Steve? What do you think?
Okay.
Tell me everything.
all right. Well, okay. So the WWE, the TNA NXT partnership seems to be off to a great start. I was listening to Busted Open the other day, and Bully Ray actually brought up something I hadn't thought of and could actually be a concern down the line is where does WWE, if they do this, eventually start flexing their muscle to TNA creative?
Well,
Or will they just like leave well enough alone? Because TNA seems to be doing a pretty good job on their own.
so you bring up the creative point. The thing that I've heard more about that is not necessarily that they want to infuse their own creative to get certain people over or whatever or whatnot, but more about, so it's a theory that WWE is leaving USA and some of these networks, right? And then markets like India are a big market, like, but they're leaving certain networks in those markets. And with those networks being open, the idea or the theory is that TNA, not AEW, is going to take those markets over. And that's kind of like some people, like the conspiracy theorists, whatever you want to call it, are thinking that that's kind of some of the secondary or tertiary thinking behind, everything that's going on with this partnership, is that they're going to pick up some of the auxiliary, or not the auxiliary, the left behind TV deals that WWE is leaving, and that'll expose them. And by osmosis, they're going to get, those ratings, and it won't hinder WWE because they already have a strong relationship, something along those lines.
Right.
Yeah, I haven't heard the creative aspect is something very, very interesting that you bring up.
Yeah, because I can see a situation where WWE, sends somebody over for a little while, and at some point with one of them, they'll start to go, we don't like how this person, how you're booking this person that we have loaned over to you, and rather than just trusting TNA creative the same way TNA is probably going to trust NXT creative. I'd like to see where maybe they could collaborate if there's going to be people from both brands. I mean, they're starting, NXT is starting to send over, I guess, bigger and bigger names. We saw Cora Jade, but who knows? I mean, hopefully it does not get messy, because this is for, I forget how many years this is for, but I mean, it's a multi-year agreement, and hopefully it could be kept, at the very least cordial and professional, and everybody benefits all around, creatively, financially, the whole thing.
Exactly. No, that's what you need. I actually kind of hope, because I know, like, he tweeted out, we were talking about this before the show, like, Cena tweeted out like a TNA Genesis kind of thing, and I think it'd be nice, like, something he's never done, go to TNA, like, make history, go to TNA, do a match. I don't care who it is, put somebody better yet, put somebody over at TNA. John Cena putting somebody over at TNA. Ooh, give me that. Give me John Cena versus Joe Hendry, and with Joe Hendry getting a victory.
John Cena just went over. Fuck you, Theory. I think him and Henry are going to have a moment. I want Henry to come out and he pose and they both turn at each other at the same time. Like, that's my fantasy booking. They both do the turn. There's no way Cena's fucking going to TNA. He doesn't put people over in WWE. Like, why would he put over?
I think he might do it once.
Yeah.
At some point in the year. I mean, he's already given his notice. I think he would do it just to say he did it.
Yeah.
Start checking off the boxes. Okay, what haven't I done yet?
But he's not going to fucking put someone over. He's going to be.
No, he's not going to. I don't think he's going to put anyone over, but he'll go. He'll be on the show.
I don't.
And that's John Cena in TNA would be the impact that he would have on that brand for one night. If you advertise it, it'd probably be more than any of their pay-per-view buys, like Genesis, whatever. It'd probably be the equivalent of that.
Yeah, just go over there for one episode, shake Joe Hendry's hand, and do the hand thing, and then leave.
Oh, I hate it so much.
I see. You and we're on the same page here.
I'm sorry. I'm seeing the word Genesis on the screen, and I'm thinking of that monologue from American Psycho. So,
I thought you were thinking about the game Sega Genesis.
Now, already established.
Yeah. Sega's great. Sonic for Sega. Hey, why didn't? Oh, it's too bad. It's too bad they didn't do this pay-per-view like around like the time the movie came out.
What, the Sonic movie?
Yeah, like all the Sonic movies. That would be a great sponsorship deal. Big missed opportunity.
Well, it'll be released on streaming soon enough.
Yeah.
Price is wrong, bitch.
So how about Pat McAfee in the Rumble? Since it's in his hometown, and he starts an angle that's going to end at WrestleMania against Corey Graves.
Oh, I have so many feelings about this.
Steven just
So you have some feelings.
You don't get my feelings. I want it and hate it and want it and hate it and want it and hate it.
I mean, wasn't Graves cleared some time ago?
Yeah.
In 2023, he was cleared.
Yeah. And he just hasn't. I mean, he's been doing a great job doing what he's doing anyway. But, I mean, something tells me this whole thing with the broadcast positions might just be a work.
It would be.
McAfee's certainly going to be in the Rumble.
Well, so here's the thing. So there always is one goofy celebrity type match at WrestleMania. I'm not calling this that, but like non-wrestler, whatever you want to call it, non-traditional full-time wrestler match. Mm-hmm. Could this be that match? And it's better. It's 100%. Like, I know Bad Bunny was like, but like it interests me more than 90% of what the celebrities that we've seen in the last 10 years, Logan Paul included.
Yeah, and Pat can go. I mean, we've seen him do it, so
He's
the most athletic punter in history.
Yes.
But does Vince McMahon fucking him up? Does that downplay? Like, I'm intrigued, but I don't know how I feel about it. Is Corey McAfee a Mania match?
I think they could make it that. I don't know how. I mean, just simply the beef with the announcing. I think they could make it a Mania match. I mean, where else would you put it?
Yeah.
I agreed. If they were going to fight, it'd have to be at Mania. I just don't know who's going to carry the match though. Like with McAfee, Adam Cole, like Cole walked him through that. Again, Bad Bunny, Priest. You need the sort of person there to walk you through it. Again, Corey Graves has not had a match in 2014, 2015, 10 years. So who's going to carry who at this point? Again, I know Corey has the fundamentals. He knows what to do.
Yeah. It'll have to be something pretty brief.
Yeah. No, I'd be okay with it. Like, again, you're going to stack the card. It's 2 nights of WrestleMania. So put that in the middle.
Yeah.
It keeps me interested and then makes it much more harder for me to find a bathroom break. It'll have to be the faction match.
People,
Yeah, you're all about factions. You have to save for the faction match.
No, I can get a pee in before one of the guys gets eliminated. So. Steve, last shot before we let you go.
this is a little bit old, but I saw where Ric Flair said he has one more match left in him. He thinks left in him. To which I say, good, leave it there. It's going to end up being a coffin match.
Oh my God.
We don't want him being Randy the Ram Robinson.
Yeah.
I think he wants to go out like that, though.
And that's why I'm terrified that's how he wants to go.
I know, and he's going to ruin like so many people's, like millions of people's lives.
Yeah.
The size, but like his fucking kids, like he's got 3 and then all his dad's kids.
Yeah. I mean, if Vince was still in charge, he would have booked that yesterday.
Ugh,
Unbelievable.
I know.
Steve, you, sir, well done. Pleasure
Till next week.
Say again?
I said, till next week, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, Steven, the legend on this show, the OG. All right, let's get through a couple more comments. We've got a couple people on the line. Let's get through. Let's call her here. So, One Pup Beat Slayer. I know people were chanting CM Punk, but people were wanting Roman when he left. We're just loving them when the company gets boring when they leave. Just watch Punk will die down soon. He's getting old.
I'm also old, so I'm here for the old people. I don't think he's winning the Royal Rumble. I think Punk has his little. Again, he said in his promo with Jackie that he was like, I'm going to pull in some favors. I'm going to do a thing. Like, he's not winning the Royal Rumble. I don't think he's getting that main event that he thinks.
No, I agree.
Unfortunately.
Well, Pump goes on a little bit more. So, CM Punk 46 still chump. Tried UFC, got slammed like a he's like a.
Are you right?
Oh, he's a rapper. I didn't realize.
Here for this, babe.
Pipe, I can't do this. Pipe bomb stale, now just a tail. In the ring or the cage, always seem to fail. Title shots caught, but dreams always frail. Oh!
Are you my new best
dropping
friend?
lines.
I'm so here for this.
He's dropping lines. Oh, man.
Girl.
Bars. I think they say. I'm not hip. I don't know.
And we're so not hip. Mom, spaghetti. Arms are heavy.
Oh, man.
But he's dropping bombs.
Listen, all I know is this is as hip as we get.
Get out with LPP, yeah, you know me. Get out with LPP, yeah, you know me. Get out with LPP, yeah, you know me. Who's down with LPP? Every line's on me. Get out.
God. So I was having a one-on-one with one of my direct manager reports, and Nick made a because he not photobomb, like just injects himself into my meetings, and he made a joke about like OPP, and she's like, I don't know what that means.
Nobody gets it. We're bringing that shit back.
Fucking old as fuck.
We're bringing it all back.
She's
Everyone on
28. I'm
X
400 years old.
and on YouTube, we're bringing all the
That's
90s,
what we
80s, 90s, the hits from 70s, 80s, 90s, aughts.
I know. All our songs.
The 10s, I don't know. What are they called? What's after
Aughts.
aughts? No, what's the 10s ones?
The aughts.
What's the zeros? then
No,
the
and
new
isn't the off?
nation. And what's
I
called the
thought
new
early off.
new era.
No, I'm old.
Very confusing time. Very confusing time in our lives.
But honestly, we got 10 minutes before.
All right, we got 10
the
minutes.
next
We got time for one more call.
In your.
Are you ready?
Yes, I missed.
We want to know what's in his head.
Yeah, Darby Allin sucks. That kills me every time.
Hey, oh.
Ed, welcome back in. What are you drinking? What are you thinking?
Hello. Oh man. What am I drinking? Nothing, because I got out of work late, so I just kind of zoomed here. But what am I thinking? I'm thinking that.
Hold on, I get the.
Oh yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I need to hydrate, so probably I should be drinking water. To be fair, what am I thinking? I'm thinking that One Pump Chump and I aren't watching the same show, but I'm right, or we're not watching the same show. I've been rewatching Lucha Underground instead. It's really good. It's really good. Like it's one of those things not for nothing, right? Friend of mine just started watching wrestling again. No idea who Penta is, right?
Mm.
Watches his debut and is like, holy shit, this guy's the shit, right? Just the way that he's presented is like, oh, I have to watch this now. Like he was grabbed, right? They do a similar thing in Lucha Underground, but not like Pyro and Ballyhoo and all that jazz. It's like the third episode of season 1. It's the main event. It's his brother Phoenix, it's Drago, and it's Penta. And the three of these guys are presented as the future of Lucha Libre.
Mm.
Literally 5 seconds in, they're all doing flips, and within 30 seconds, the whole crowd is chanting, "This is Lucha!" Like, and this is 10 years ago.
Right.
And he was just a tag guy in AEW. I don't understand it. Like, the two of them were. I don't get it.
Well, the fact that like just that promo alone that he cut after his first match was infinitely better than anything he's done charisma wise in AEW. And it's just like, I knew about the Sierra Mira thing, but like, it's just like, you never let him talk. You had Alex Abrahantes, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
And who's awful, who's fucking awful as a manager, and like a hype man. First of all, hype men don't work in pro wrestling. There's no such thing as a hype person because you get your ass kicked. Like the last hype person I could think of was Leo Rush for Bobby Lashley.
I literally was going to say the same thing, that like that's the last time it worked, but I felt like it was a waste of Leo Rush.
Yeah.
I mean, I bet I say that out loud. It's like, but is it though? Because like, a strong breeze picks up and that guy's injured, and then he retires.
Well, he's another guy that we talk about like in AEW. Like it's like he was part of this Hurt Syndicate storyline that just kind of started like when they first got in. Like they were kind of recruiting him, kind of not, and like then like
he showed up with Action Andretti.
Yeah, like just as jobber.
Yeah, I don't know what that show is doing, period. And I was gonna wait to bring it up, but I'll bring it up now. The same friend I was just talking about, right? I mean, Nick, you and I were texting a little bit during Dynamite, and it was one of those like, so I watched the opening segment, right? And I'm like, okay, this was fine, but I kept hearing a lot of really good things. It's like, this opening was electric. Like, you have to watch it, especially if you're a new viewer. I was like, all right. So I sent it to the same friend. I went, listen, watch this and just tell me what you think. Does this draw you in? And again, it's a similar, like he was like, holy shit, was like Penta's intro amazing. And like that whole thing was 15 minutes. He watches the opening of Dynamite and he's like, 1, the camera work sucks. 2, commentary does nothing to explain any of this to me. So he's like, so I have no idea who anybody is. I don't know why they're fighting. And he's like, and 3, if the 2 guys in the ring, so if like Ospreay and what's his name? A second.
Kenny.
No, so sorry, not Kenny. The guy that used to be in
Fletcher.
Yeah, Fletcher. Thank you. If the 2 of them are supposed to be in a blood feud, why are they doing flips at each other? Like, why are they spending the time doing like 46 cartwheels into a flying kick when like you're supposed to hate each other?
Cool.
Because that's how they know how to fight. Parkour.
But it's like, okay, it's fine for a match, but it's like it's like, am I wrong that it's real fucking goofy if you're supposed to be getting into a street fight and you're just diving off of shit at each other?
Yep.
Yeah, well,
Like, what are we doing? I feel like this is every week, but like, I don't.
which also, how is Kenny Omega afraid of heights, but he does all these stupid, crazy moves?
What adrenaline's? I mean, does he really though?
No, he's not. He's not known to be a high flyer.
I consider like even like a suicide dive. I consider that like jumping to the floor from still like 5-10 feet up.
Yeah, it's very different being on a fucking scaffold.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and you're gonna have a guy who's supposed to catch you, and if he doesn't, you're at least falling on mats. It's not great. Like, I don't love that for me, but like, I think I could dive out of the ring. I'd be terrified to dive off of a scaffold.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just the I don't know where this we know where this is going, but it doesn't. I don't get. Do we care? I don't care. And make me care.
All I know is someone wrote an apology. It's probably me.
I'm pretty sure the three of us are booked for a trios title match next week anyway. Like,
I will gut you both like bitches. I'm walking out with that belt.
The trios belt.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We got this.
Tom and I are walking out with this
Did you
belt.
hear how awful? Can someone else? Nikki,
I'm better than you, and you know it.
Oh, don't even get me started with MJF.
she can be a trios champion without two partners. Somehow it's never been done before, but she'll find a way.
I'm recruiting Amanda and Lisa. That's all I need.
There it is. You got this.
Gang, buzz, buzz.
That'd be creative. Okay.
Get your life together.
You're getting your life together that you knew that reference.
I'm so sad that show ended. But am I though? Like, man,
Yes and no, but
Brendan
yes
Schaub
and no.
kind of sucks, and like Theo's in a weird spot. Like,
Oh, it's terrible, but I loved that show.
So
And I
good.
shouldn't
So
have.
good.
Lisa's already trying to be unbelievable. The Shield is forming.
Me, Lisa, and Amanda, like we're fucking unstoppable.
I'm chuckling at the idea of all three of you doing the Shield thing.
Oh,
I don't have any good. This is as close as I got to the
War games! War
there's
games!
a picture of us.
It's not even close.
There's a picture of the three of us at the wedding, so watch out.
I'm here for it.
Me, Lisa, and Amanda will.
I'm already more interested than like watching. I was gonna say the War Dogs. I'm like, no, bring the War Dogs back. No, I'm more interested in I'm already more interested in that I am in like the Hounds of Hell or the Hellhounds or whatever they're called.
Oh, is that
What?
the new
Brody King and Buddy
They're
Matthews and
They trademarked Cerberus, which is
I'm
a
cool.
three-headed dog.
yeah.
no, don't worry. We already got this covered.
Rest in peace.
Listen, I'm here for it. As
you're-
long as
you're
they're doing
actually
something, listen, do something with Brody King, do something with Buddy Matthews, do something with Julia. They're all good.
Yeah.
Just do stuff. Just make it matter. Make me care, please.
Yeah.
I want to care.
I feel about I was watching Dynamite and was like, I want to care. I don't care about this. Like Jamie Hitter and this fucking Daphne 60 bullshit. Like, I want to care. You're making me not care. I want to love you, but you're making it real fucking hard.
I feel like too, just that like the name, like even when they announced the name of the company, I was like, oh, that feels bad. It's just me.
No, it's just like again, Matt and Nick had their fucking thing in their head, and then they did it like.
Nikki, just say what I know you want to say.
What?
Hated it.
I get the branding back from 2019. Again,
bad,
them doing like the Golden Elite, them being BTE, what your branding is. What they thought they were doing in 2019 and what they're clearly at in 2025 is it's different. I mean, we all grow up, we all change. None of their EVPs, like the Young Bucks are fucking gone. Like Kenny's whatever. Obviously Cody's gone. Tony's running roughshod. Mox is doing whatever. Brian was doing whatever.
And like I don't know. I don't know who takes the belt off him. I keep hearing it's Darby, but like they're not doing anything about it.
Obviously, would hate that. No, he's training again. He didn't break his fucking foot. He's training to do Mount Everest, so he's gone. At least they're saying in May, so double or nothing. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Cool. I hope it's good. I hope it makes me care. I hope they do something. There's tons of talent there. Hell, have Joe take the belt off him at this point. Like, I don't even care. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like Joe will step up. Joe will choke him unconscious. It's fine. I don't know what to say about that. Like I said, I wanted a baseline of someone who has not watched that show and just like, listen, am I like being overcritical? Am I just like hating this thing? Like just because it's been bad for so long? No, someone who's never watched the show popped in and was like, this is garbage. It feels like the quote that he sent me was, this feels like early to mid 90s WCW with worse production values.
Again, we miss all the flippy doos of the things. It's like, again, we want to support all the things.
Yeah.
You're making me hate it. Like, again, I think I looked at you every 30 seconds. I was like, I hate this promo. I hate their doing thing. Like, MJF came out. I was like, I don't want to hear this thing. Like, honestly, the only thing is, like, Tony Storm pretending not to be Tony Storm, pretending to be Tony Storm.
Is bad.
Also pretending to be Tony Storm. Like, it's not great, but it's something.
Listen, I'm just glad we got old Manser in it, because I was going to say, speaking of MLW alum, I'm glad we got Mance Warner showing up in TNA.
I'm interested to see what, because I don't really know much about the guy. So like, with all the PCO stuff.
Yeah, I think that's the best cover for Steph Delander to come out and be like, I got this in divorce. This is my new man. Blah, blah,
so
blah.
good.
Like, I feel like if you weren't following all what happened with PCO, like, there's a great little, like, I got this, beep, beep, boop, and move on.
It's a nice little announcement. It's curious to see what happens next for them. Scott D'Amore has been backstage for AEW, supposedly.
I don't think Scott can save.
No, but it'd be interesting to see what he could do to help. I mean, again, like there's names. I honestly view Scott D'Amore, not to go off on a whole thing, but I view him similar.
Your show. Go on a tangent.
I don't want to great, but like just similarly, not the same ilk as like Heyman was like 15 years ago, where people were trying to get Heyman to come in and do creative for them, because like whether it was TNA or like one of the other auxiliary companies back then that was growing, like they were trying to get Heyman because they knew what he could have what he did in his like history with ECW, and people were trying to get him. I feel the same thing like with Scott D'Amore to some extent. It's like he's a mind for the business. It's a really brilliant mind that I think people are trying to get.
I hear you. And I get what you're saying. I don't know if he's got enough equity is not the right word. I can't find the word I'm looking for, but I don't. Clout's not the right word either, but it's like goodwill. I don't know if he has the same amount of goodwill.
Yeah.
Like it worked in TNA because he was a driving force in TNA and he had been there for so long. And because he was so passionate about that brand, like it transferred to everything else that TNA was doing. Like I really feel like if he would have still been president, they'd be starting to take over the AEW market, like with what Steven was saying earlier, how it looks like the rumor is that WWE is going to use like TNA as like a foothold to kind of give them all of their, like, I don't want to say their leftovers, but like all the TV slots they don't have. It's like, no, pick these guys up because they know what they're doing. And they can throw some of their like lower level guys. Like let's say hypothetically, you have nothing to do with LA Knight. I'm not saying put him back in TNA because it's a huge downgrade for him, but you got nothing to do. Put him in TNA for a month. You know, it keeps him busy. And it would be huge for TNA. I mean, I know Nick, you were just saying, I know Nikki, you were just saying that like it'll never happen. But wouldn't it be fucking crazy if Cena showed up on a TNA pay-per-view? Like if TNA showed up for Slammiversary?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he wrestles a match. I don't want to see John Cena wrestle a TNA match. But wouldn't it be fucking crazy if he just showed up and was like, hey, I'm here.
In the crowd?
Yeah.
In the crowd.
Yeah,
hanging out the crowd. Just high-fiving people.
But like promote it and it will help the brand. Like the guy is one of the biggest. Like you could argue a Mount Rushmore wrestler and put him on that brand for a night. And how many other people do you bring in for one night? And it would go infinitely. It's the level of The Rock for TNA.
Cena's honestly, Cena is I'm going to call him the torchbearer. And I say this because, like, in a time where there wasn't a Hogan-like face, a Rock or Austin type face, he was the guy. And he was the guy for over a decade. Mm-hmm. Like, you can go on the street and you can be like, hey, do you know who Roman Reigns is? And they're probably like, no. Like, they might know, but I doubt it. Would you be like, you can go, hey, do you know who Kenny Omega is? They're going to go, who the fuck are you talking about? Mm-hmm. But if you say, who's John Cena? I guarantee you they know who that is.
Exactly.
And honestly, if you ask them who Goldust is, they're going to know. Everybody knows WWF's Goldust. The big gold one, everybody knows.
Unbelievable.
Oh,
Ed,
better or worse?
Of course, a little troll at the end. Has to. Ed, before we let you go, last shot.
Yeah, you already know what it is. Then, now, and forever. Fuck Hulk Hogan.
Ah, that's a different one.
No, I didn't last time.
Well, he's been throwing him. He's been throwing him out. So,
Ed, I love you. Tell your wife I love her even more. Obviously,
but we know what's in his head.
Yeah, Darby Allin sucks.
What's in your head? In your head. Zombie.
All right. Another productive. Let's get through.
Okay, they're fun.
Lisa loves Ed.
Ed loves Lisa.
But Tony cares, and Uncle Dave. They do care. Steven's got a good one.
Steven!
To climb Everett so he can suicide dive off the top.
Oh, don't give him any fucking ideas. He might.
Probably. Let's see. Did we get through everything? Oh, Lisa wants to be your Dean Ambrose in your Shield because she's just as insane.
I'm into it.
She made your Shield. She wants to make your Shield. She wants to be the Dean.
Well, I did say that me, Lisa, and Amanda were going to make our own faction.
Yeah.
So who's going to be the who's of the who's?
So either you are Roman Reigns or Amanda then is Roman Reigns.
I think I might be. I don't know. My Seth or my mom.
Acknowledge me.
How about loud?
You knew that was coming.
Oh my gosh. Ladies have been ladies. People have been people. Support women. I don't want to go on a... I will go on down a political fucking thing.
No, but it's been a great one. Yeah, we feel so blessed.
All that said, though, incredible team effort, and I
blessed.
All that said, though, incredible team effort, and I feel so lucky and blessed to have this opportunity and be here and be part of this. Everyone here, give yourselves a round of applause. This is unbelievable. Thank you, guys.
Well done from our regulars, our callers. As always, before you go, hit the old Samoan spike on the like. If you're new and haven't subscribed yet, hit the old subscribe. We appreciate having you. But Nikki, there's only one way to take us out. It's one of your favorites.
One more.
Our not so CCO, Triple H.
Thought we had a spectacular event tonight. Very excited that so far everybody seems to have come out unscathed. You know, banged up, bumps and bruises, but nobody seriously injured, which I always hold my breath on these events. You want to see people have the best outing that they can possibly have and make memories, but do it safely. And we were able to do that tonight.
We're able to do that tonight. Another week without incident. It's lovely. We are back here next Friday at 6. We are predicting and previewing WWE Royal Rumble 2025. We're in a new year. So we're excited for that. We hope you will join us next week for that PLE. They're called PLEs in WWE, not PVVs. So until next time, before you go hit the old like and subscribe. But until next time, you do not have to go home
but you can't stay here. Bye.